Okay, ready? I found happiness, yes, yes, where I left it last. Underneath the banksia trees, looking out on Erie Beach, in the cool place. I forgot the chords. I forgot the chords. I'm never working with him again. I'm not working with him again, ever. I forgot the chords, dude, sorry. I'm Tony, aka Happy Sufferer.
I'm Paul Snatch, aka Paul Snatch.
We're
the King Tide. We're the vocalists.
Yeah, we're the clowns up front. Well, it started off as by a man called Glenn Wright, who has a record label called Vitamin Records, who was booking a venue called the Beach Road Hotel in Bondi, and I was in retirement. I was just sort of, DJing actually, and he rang me up in retirement. No, look at the end of the place. And he rang me up out of the blue and said, "Tony, can you put together a reggae rootsy band thing for the Beach Road Hotel's Roots Nights on Thursday night?" So then I said, "Yeah, well, sure, the future's knocking."
He went down to the lab, started genetic engineering, and
yeah, mate. So I just rang up usual offenders like Terrapire and old bandmates,
Monk,
Lindsay,
Alex.
yeah, and I just got all these loops and gave it to them because I knew you couldn't put these people in a rehearsal room and start from scratch. And I gave them these loops, and then I just had these lyrics, and then I went to the gig and just sang songs over the stuff that they got, and then
they find their own life. Those loops start off as a little inspiration of a groove to start off.
Also, before Paul arrived, was Sean, who's a Trinidadian, who I met at a jam down thing, which was a jam down was just people jump up at the cricketers and just play a scratch band. And Sean, I thought Sean's really good, so I said, Sean. So I rang him when I got the phone call from Glenn. I rang Sean. I said, Sean, do you want to do this thing with me? And he said, sure, because he was just making it up as well, as you do.
It's kind of become the...
As you do. So, and it was going really well. It was great. Sean he loved to gamble, Sean.
He loved the call.
He loved the call. He loved the...
It's like the toasting.
He loved the toasting.
Coming out the outside, you've got number one applause, everybody's coming up, and he's like, oh, there goes, Charles Pass coming in there.
And he was a mad gambler. So one day he's in the betting shop in Bondi, and in come the immigration and grab him. And I've almost finished the very first King Tide album. And they grab him, they take him off to Villawood. They put him in the detention centre. I was actually doing a gig. Sean and I were doing a PA gig at the Opera Bar, just with backing tapes.
Karaoke!
Yeah, that night I was going down, and I get this phone call, and my daughter goes, answer the phone, my daughter goes, Dad, it's Sean. He's at Villawood Detention Centre. I went, oh, bullshit. Good luck. This is a joke, mate. They weren't jokes. I went, get on the phone, and there's Sean at Villawood Detention Centre, locked in the detention centre. I went, my God, what? And so anyway, we get him out for 3 days. I don't know.
You struck a deal.
I don't know how we did it. We got him out for 3 days before they deported him, and finished his vocals off on this album. So then we called the album, the very first album, we called it To Our Dearly Deported.
Just a picture of him on the front with the Ethiopian flag colours coming down.
Yeah.
Rasta colours,
Yeah.
Red, gold, green.
Yeah. So then we had a gig. We had a gig 2 weeks' time at the very first Pete's Ridge gig festival. So Paul was living in Melbourne, and so I thought, yeah. I rang Paul. I said, Paul, can you come and play the character of Sean? And he came up and
send me the lyrics. My God.
Yeah.
And I'm deciphering patois.
Yeah.
So and it became like I was Sean for the first.
Yeah,
for the first thing. I had to be Sean. You were selling that album. I had to be Sean.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah, we had all those songs.
So I felt a bit thespian-y.
Well, you did a very good job of being Sean, and Sean was a lovely. He's a lovely.
He was a great guy.
He's in New York now. He's living in New York, and if you see this, Sean, mwah.
From me too, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. Great song, great lyricist, great. Very
we still sing. I still sing his lyrics today.
Yeah,
There's about 4 or 5 in the set. I still sing.
Yeah.
Sean's words. Which way? Okay. What do we do? There's Herdman. There's. What do you think?
Herdman.
You know what?
What?
What's the first word?
Of Herdman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. You know those moments? No, I've had it. This is what we do on stage. You're supposed to help me out. You're supposed to give me that look.
Something about...
The herb man come like a conductor.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Connect supplier to the choice customer. In our tarry him always deliver. Reach him on the phone to try to sell number. Leave him a message and he soon answer. No MasterCard, no Visa. Keep it liquid, him don't mind silver. So they soon call him Sensei Rockefeller.
That's
Sean. First. That's Sean's stuff, yeah.
And then Paul turns up and it's just been skyrocketing since then.
Skyrocketing. Yeah. Things come in waves, you know.
Look, I love Paul.
We actually jumped on each other's stages for a couple of years before this.
Yeah. Before this, yeah. And I respect him, and that's why I rang him. I couldn't think of anyone else in the whole world that could
Be
fit those
Sean.
shoes. Yeah. And enjoy working.
And have fun with it as well. Yeah. I think never rehearsing. I think almost like a special forces trust in your brother on stage to know that he's got your back if you fall off. Because we don't rehearse. So we send shit out, over line, and because, as you used to say, rehearsal rooms are where bands go to break up. We're all great musicians, and I don't mean, they are all great musicians. We're good clowns.
We're good clowns.
But they're all great, you know what I mean? And they're good, and
good dancers too.
and
Good dancers.
and there are that we have a couple of different drummers that we use. We have because everybody's got to work, and it's hard to make money in music. It's
It's a
bloody
labour of
hard.
love. It's a labour of love.
You don't. I mean, people don't buy music. People don't do whatever.
Yeah.
No one's going to gigs. They love DJs. And it's It's sort of
It's a labour of love. And we love
Are we
playing.
moving overseas?
We love playing. We're friends. We're
friends.
And respect. And we have
We
fights.
enjoy
And we
enjoy our time in the tour band.
Yeah.
Where we crack witty little silly things, stupid voices, and make each other laugh and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And-
I think
And we've
most
known
bands-
each other,
Forever.
but we've known each other forever in different bands, you know. So it's over 20 years of sort of knowing each other, in all different things, from Belly Dance and Dig and or Swoop and all these bands that were around at that time.
Yeah. I think Sydney reggae exists in the fact that not one band is the same. Like this city, I think.
Well, you have a small pond, and you imagine if someone liked to collect exotic fish, they only had a small tank.
Yeah.
They would have one or two of each. So that's kind of like the reggae scene in Sydney in a sense. I mean, as Pat had mentioned about the slight subtle differences between.
And
And I think he did a really good job there.
I
I
thought
would
so
actually quote him now. Because
Yeah.
we're actually sort of more on the rock steady kind of thing, but then sort of there's a hip hoppy thing that
there's a
goes as
pop
well,
thing.
and we're always looking for this extra bit of pop or this extra bit of stuff. We're not as you say, reggae is the compass, but it's not the ball and chain.
Yeah, that's very good point. And also, I try to stay away from the word reggae because
Sure.
I like to call it Jamaican music. Because there's so
Well,
many
the
styles.
subgroups come in,
Yeah.
and the differences between the cousins of them can be small.
Yeah, totally. It's just music, really. It's that's the thing. It's just music. It's either good or bad. So I don't think we're
Under the
reg-
banner of
I don't-
Jamaican
I
music,
don't-
there
yeah.
is
We're
there's
certainly
worlds, there's worlds.
We're so influenced
Ska,
by Jamaican
steady,
music.
loves rock,
So-
dance all, this stuff.
So in love with Jamaican music, so influenced by it, but
But I also believe that it's an essential
like
part
it.
of the inspiration of all modern hip hop and of
yeah.
all sort of
Exactly.
it's like right in there,
Exactly,
like
exactly.
even back in the '60s with, like you say, My Little Million, My Girl Lollipop, with
Yeah.
and
Yeah, cool,
there was this
cool.
thriving scene because back then, they're
that
just doing all the reggae covers of all the
whole
American
That whole
songs.
New York
Yeah.
scene, the hip hop scene, the Grandmaster Flash and Cool Herc, they're all
the-
Jamaicans. The DJ system came from Jamaica.
Well, it did, the sound
So,
system.
Sound system, so.
Running
because-
around, throw your own bashment
Yeah,
butty,
yeah.
They're not going to let us in anywhere.
Yeah.
Let's
And
create
which
our
is
own
also-
stuff, which is good.
Which is also influenced by American music, which is African music.
Which I'm kind of hoping is going to happen in Sydney now that all the lockout law, because there is a few little undergroundy things. Whenever there's trouble, I'm not just speaking just reggae now, but I'm speaking vibe and culture and musical progression. Whenever there's stuff that gets shut down by the thems,
But
They're-
Babylon.
Babylon, come in. There seems to pop up a sprout, a new weed, because you can't stop weeds, and weeds are wonderful, and they pop like the little scenes that try, and they try, and let's see how long they go, and that whole concept of when even the old dance party culture, you get that
Oh, yeah,
last
it's
minute.
underground, it's so
That's so
underground,
underground, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like probably a little bit out of touch with the
Yeah.
that generation, but I so want to jump in and play with them.
But that's where creativity...
In a creative way.
That's where the creativity comes from, doesn't it? The underground.
It always comes. Yeah. So like when
Coming up from the underground.
when you try and stop something
Yeah.
for no real beneficial reason to anyone other than stopping people
fun.
thinking themselves
Yeah.
and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, there must be something wrong with that.
There must be something wrong with that. God, we need you miserable because
Because
we
you
need
go
you
to work in
miserable.
the morning.
The world seems to need everyone miserable.
You go to work in the morning.
Yeah. Well, you do. You go to work. You know, it's like when you walk in the pub and someone asks you, how you going? And you go, oh, I'm unreal. And they go, oh, it's all right for you. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
my
come-
neck's
don't
not
come
bad.
in
Oh,
here
not
being
bad. You know? It's like, come on, guys. Lively up yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would I like to see? I would like to see. I would like to see have a little bit more of a commercial push so that the other people that it's already would actually come along to stuff, because it seems to be like the cool kids or the whatever kids or the in crowds that know of things. But I'd like to see it slip a bit more into the world, because I know everybody loves it.
I think that's the media. I think that's radio.
Well, that's right, sure.
I think that's radio. I think that's the powers that be. I think that's the scribes in the newspapers. I think that's the jocks on the radios. I think it's all that.
Which, you know, like, and also, like, China, okay, we're white guys, we're playing Jamaican music,
Oh, that's
you know,
confusing.
like, and that's confusing as well.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, well, are you a Rasta? No, I can't be a Rasta. You know? I can't be a Rasta. I can't sing about Jah. I can't say that. To me, that would be insulting and disrespectful to the people that do.
But we can sing about.
But we can sing about happiness and spirit
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the thing, which is just different. You know, it's still the same message and it's still the same thing. So, and a couple of little social commentaries. We don't try to be too nasty. Just sort of a layer.
We are a little.
We get a bit naughty. We do. We have been naughty. Yes, we have.
But that's okay. That's we do. That's sort of a punky Irish sort of thing.
That's what we got. We're
Hoots rock reggae. Hoots rock reggae. Hoots rock reggae. Yeah, that's got a good. No, that's all right. Yeah.
that's good.
But
But
yeah, as you said, I think if we need more of the scribes and the DJs and the radio.
other than
stations.
just already people
Need
that
to
know
open
about
their
it.
ears up and their minds and their hearts and realise that it's just music, it's good or bad.
You know, and rocks are two-dimensional life forms, so we should be nice.
Are they?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
They can think. You don't need a brain to think.
He makes me laugh.